Welcome to episode 3 of Fizzy's Wacky World of Wrestling. I'm 14 Fitzpatrick, and for our first Japanese wrestling episode, we are going to do a review of the Tokyo Gurentai Tokyo Love Free show from January 16th, 2013, from the Shinjuku Face Arena in Tokyo, Japan. We have 6 matches on the card for today. And we begin with Kitaro versus Kota Ibushi. Kota Ibushi is one of the greatest juniors of the latter half of the 2000s. Kitaro is a comedy wrestler, well known in his home promotion of Osaka Pro Wrestling, but also well known as being a freelancer. Anyway, this apparently is some kind of road to something tournament, and oddly, we start with a comedy wrestler and a great junior wrestler. Kitaro knows that he can't win against Ibushi in a wrestling match, so he does what every other comedy wrestler / heel does. Cheats in every conceivable way possible. He immediately does so by low-blowing Ibushi in the first half of this match, and then complaining to the referee. The referee, being a cranky old guy, shoves Kitaro, which causes Kitaro to fall and hit Ibushi in a very sensitive area that has already been hit before. And as the Japanese schoolgirls in the attendance get increasingly more and more angry that Kitaro is injuring their Ibushi-sama, Kitaro continues to attack Ibushi, slapping him, low-blowing him, and trying to keep him from getting on the top rope to do the moonsaults that he is so well known for. Ibushi, however, gets increasingly angry at Kitaro's antics and strikes back with the traditional babyface fire when he's not getting low-blowed into oblivion. Oh man, this was a hilarious match. Finally, Ibushi gets some offense rolling, does a couple of moonsaults, until finally he's about to set up Kitaro for his spinning corkscrew moonsault, when Kitaro rolls out of the way and says that he's willing to challenge Ibushi to an arm wrestling match. Ibushi accepts. We expect this to be obviously a great contest of strength and wills, only for Kitaro to tap out in about 5 seconds the minute that Ibushi locks an arm lock on his arm. Yep, that was a really sensible strategy there. The match was really well paced and was incredibly well done for a comedy match. Kitaro has over 15 plus years of experience. I should say actually 20 years of experience in the field of comedy. He's been doing this for a long time, folks. And Kota Ibushi is absolutely fantastic as the babyface in peril. Now pray for young Kitaro, as he will probably now be angrily mauled by a horde of enraging schoolgirls for attacking their Ibushi-sama in a sensitive area. Now that we're done with the praying, we can move on to our second match on the card, which is Taka Michinoku and Tank Nagani taking on Kazeshiro Nakajima and Mishiro Kitamaya. Now, Tank is a disciple of Taka Michinoku from the Gurentai dojo, which means that he is a young lion. Now, young lions are rookies that lose about 95% of their matches, and only win against other young lions on the first match on the card, usually. Now, young lions go on a international excursion for about 1.5 to 2 years and wrestle a different style. Then they return to Japan with their new gimmick and receive their push. That is what's happening to Mr. Nagani, as he is the designated young lion jobber in this match, against the more experienced Nakajima and Kitayama. Anyway, these two have decided the best strategy for this match is to keep Taka Michinoku out of it, because he is so much more skilled than the 2 wrestlers that he's facing against. So they do everything they can to keep Nagani from tagging Michinoku, and surprisingly, unlike 95% of the time that heel tag teams try and do this plan, it actually works. Nagani is isolated from Michinoku, and they keep him out of this match as long as humanly possible. Michinoku gets a few spots in here and there, but he mostly lets the free youngsters do the work. And they do a surprisingly good job. Nakajima is really crisp on offense, and Kitayama from the Kensuke office is surprisingly well-balanced as a wrestler. He definitely reminds me of a young Osamu Nishimura, who was a great traditional wrestling wrestler for New Japan Pro Wrestling back in the mid-90s. All in all, this was a surprisingly good match. I wasn't expecting much from it, but again, it told a story, just like the first match on this card. And the third match on this card also tells a story. It's Masano Inori, Hikaru Sato versus Yoshihiro Takayama and Takuya Kai. Kai is another rookie trying to make a name for himself on this independent show, and has to do that by beating Inoue and Sato. Now, I believe that Inoue is from DDT, and Sato, I think, is freelance. And they do their best to try and keep Takayama out of this match. Takayama is 6'5" and an absolute behemoth compared to everybody else on this show. He got involved into many famous shoot fights with Don Fry back in 2004. Unfortunately, Takayama suffered a stroke, a full-blown stroke, so if you notice any of his matches after 2005, you'll notice that part of his face has sagged. But the stroke hasn't really affected him too badly. He might be a step slower, but he still can pull off all his spots relatively well. And he does just that in this match. Kai is also the designated babyface in this match, with Takayama being the destroyer of worlds. There's a lot of great comedy in this match, just like the first two matches, with Takayama attempting to do the test of strength arm hold on one of the two guys, and them being so short that they can't reach his arms. It was absolutely hilarious. Also, Takayama does a couple of flare flops in this match, which really were hilarious. Anyway, it's down to Kai and the guy in the black trunks, who I think is Inoue. Or is it Sato? I wasn't really sure in this match which one was which. So anyway, the guy in the black trunks has an arm lock on Kai. They go and exchange holds and try and exchange arm locks with one another, until finally Kai attempts to get him for the 1-2-3, but Kai falls to the most devious trick in the book of Japanese wrestling, a Diva's roll-up, for the 1-2-3, and he loses this match. What a great tag team match. Everything was done to perfection. All the spots were done incredibly well, and each of the performers knew what they were doing before they went out there. I've been incredibly impressed by this little indie show so far. Yep, Tokyo is definitely showing the love of wrestling, and it definitely shows. Anyway, this ends part 1 of this video. Tune in for part 2, where we have 3 more matches on this card, and we'll be right back.